Happy holidays. Did you know that there are around 30 lesbian holiday movies out there and that I have seen all of them? So let's definitively rank them to see if, in fact, there are actually good lesbian holiday movies out there. Okay, so here is my tier list, and it's going from Most Wonderful Time of the Queers, Make the Yuletide Gay, Oh What Fun, Teeters Between Naughty and Nice, Slay It Ain't So, and Just a Lump of Coal. Certainly for some of these holiday rom-coms, I will be a lot more flexible on what I consider to be a good movie or not. However, I think it is important that no matter what genre, there are some accessible and entertaining holiday movies. So, let's get started. Okay, first up we have Eight Women. This is a French movie musical murder mystery. It is very, very weird. If you don't like musicals, then I actually don't know whether or not you'll like this because it's not very much a traditional musical. The songs don't necessarily move the plot forward. They're more about the internal goings on of these characters. But I'm going to lean into it being a little more fun because the nicheness of it makes it entertaining enough for me. Christmas is Canceled. This movie, I'm pretty sure by far had the worst reviews of any movie on this list. And you know what? It fits. This movie was absolutely terrible. And the painful thing is that the lead woman in it, she's a very good actor and tries so hard with the terrible script and the terrible idea that she got. Do not watch it. It's not good. The Christmas Lottery. It's a very cute movie. So The Christmas Lottery is the first of several movies in which I immediately was like, I think this might be gay before I even saw it because it has multiple sisters. If there are multiple sisters, it just increases the chance that one of them is a lesbian. The fun thing about this is that in this movie, the lesbian couple is the stable couple. They are the ones that everyone else kind of looks to for stability. And I like that. It's really nice to see that. It is pretty cute, but I don't think it's remarkable. Christmas at the Ranch. So this is one of the ones made by the Tello Films company. They do a lot of films about queer women. I'm gonna put this in Slade Ain't So because it's cute. If you really want something that's Hallmark-esque, this might be it, but I don't think it really gets there. The Christmas Clapback. I really liked this movie. I thought this movie was so cute. Another one in which I knew it was going to be gay because it had multiple sisters. It's about three sisters who try to make a cookout. I'm going to teeter on this being Make the Yuletide Gay because the lesbian couple, they do get the central romance, which I think is very delightful. It's a very easily digestible movie. It's called The Christmas Clapback, but no clapping back really happens. It's actually a very sweet story about sisterhood. Anna and the Apocalypse. This movie, oh god, I think this movie is so cool. I think it's great. I'm gonna put it in Oh What Fun. This is a zombie movie musical. So yeah, there's a zombie apocalypse that takes place on Christmas, and everyone's just singing along while they're fighting zombies. Definitely an acquired taste. I like how I've put both of the musicals in the Oh What Fun category so far. Okay, next is A Near Christmas Wedding. Now, talk about an acquired taste. I really like this movie. I'm going to put it in the Oh What Fun category, even though a lot of people just cannot get with this movie. It is so absurd. It is so ridiculous. However, my wife and I saw it. We cried. We were both raised Catholic, and I think there was something about it that really had a lot of emotional resonance for us. So it's something where you have to really go along with the ride. And I also really like any film that really subverts the It's a Wonderful Life plot. And this is a movie that I thought did it pretty interestingly. An Unexpected Christmas. A lot of other people like this movie more than I did. This is one in which the lesbian character is just a side character, another sister. I'm gonna put it in Just a Lump of Coal. Basically, this guy and his girlfriend broke up before Christmas, but his family still wants to see her for Christmas, so he has to bring her along, and they have to pretend they're still dating. And I love a plot in which children have to lie to their families over Christmas. I always think that is a great recipe for hijinks. But I think An Unexpected Christmas just did the boring version of this plot. Alright, here we go. Look at this. It's Carol. That's right. Obviously, I'm putting this in S tier. This movie slaps. I think some people don't like it because they think it's boring, which is fine, but I think it is absolutely gorgeous. New Year's scene still gives me butterflies every time I see it. Oh my gosh. Next up is City of Trees. I always feel really bad about this because I did not like this movie. I found it to be so boring, and to me it felt like an unfinished, almost student film. There clearly was like a lot of improv that wasn't necessarily edited in a way to make it really concise and cohesive. There are people who like this movie more than I did, but I don't think it's very good. However, the filmmaker who made this did make another movie on this list that I thought is exponentially better, so I feel less bad about trashing City of Trees. Every time a bell rings, I love this movie. My wife and I love this movie. This is one of the few movies that really put me in the Christmas spirit, so I'm going to put it in Most Wonderful Time of the Queers, another movie in which there are multiple sisters and one of them is gay. This is the gay one. You might recognize her because she plays Betty in Bomb Girls, gay icon. Delightful, wholesome, cute. Every single woman in this movie has a storyline with like a love interest that I cared about. Friendsgiving. Oi, this is terrible. One of the least funny movies I've ever seen. And I mean, like, look at this cast. Kat Dennings is in it, Aisha Tyler's in it, Wanda Sykes is in, like, it's such a good cast. And for whatever reason, every single terrible choice about writing and story and editing was made, and it is not good. The one scene that is really funny is that Kat Dennings is visited by her, like, fairy godmothers, by, like, or, like, her fairy gay mothers, fairy godmothers, and it's Wanda Sykes, Fortune Feimster, and Margaret Cho. Iconic. That's the only scene that's good. Everything else, not good. Ghosting the spirit of Christmas. Okay, if there are people out there who thought a New York Christmas wedding was just a little bit too much for them, ghosting the spirit of Christmas is just a whole nother level of, this is so absurd, I must watch more. I'm going to put this on teeters between naughty and nice because it is, God, it is so absurd. The lesbian character is quite minor, and they don't even kiss. So if you want to see women kissing, don't watch this movie. But I do think it's, like, so absurd in a way that I think is kind of delightful. Oh boy, Happiest Season. This, I hate how controversial this movie is because I love Happiest Season. I am a Happiest Season apologist. If Happiest Season has one fan, it is I. I remember watching this movie with my wife. I had to pause the movie because I lived through this. I lived through this plot in which I dated a woman in college and had to pretend not to be her girlfriend when I visited her conservative family in Texas. And so I thought this movie was just so, it felt so real, but in like a very fun way. And it made me cry. I think this movie is just so good. I love Clea Duvall's work. She's only made a couple of films, but I think the way that she portrays lesbians is so complicated and fun in a way that very few other filmmakers do. So I love this movie. If you hate this movie, you can watch another video on my channel which I talk about why I think this movie is great, but love it. Alright, next up, I Hate New Year's. This is one of those movies where, like, is it good? Not really. Do I really like it? Yeah. I think this movie is delightful. Another one of Tello films. The acting and the writing is a bit uneven. However, I really like the core storyline. A woman visiting her home and then reconnecting with her best friend who's always been in love with her. I think it's very sweet. And I really like that it's set in Nashville. I think the setting of Nashville on New Year's is actually pretty lively and fun in a way I wasn't expecting. I'm going to put it teeters between naughty and nice because I think it is definitely one that is more of an acquired taste, even though I think it's pretty fun. Alright, next, Let It Snow. Pretty fun ensemble film. There is like a lesbian storyline that I think is, you know, pretty cute. If you want to watch a movie with lesbian content and you need to watch something with like a middle schooler, then I think Let It Snow might be a good choice. But I'm going to put it between teeters between naughty and nice because I don't necessarily think it has a very strong audience outside of like a young adult one. Lesbom is basically Happiest Season except awful. I'm sorry, I really don't mean to trash it. A lot of people try to say that Lesbom is like Happiest Season but good, and they're liars. Absurdly unfunny, despite having like a pretty good cast. Looking for Her. So this is by the same folks who did City of Trees. So I actually came in expecting not to like this. However, I was pleasantly surprised. This woman is visiting home for the holidays. her girlfriend recently broke up with her, but she still wants to prove that she has a girlfriend, so she hires an actor to pretend to be her girlfriend while she's home for Christmas, and she and the actor fall in love. It sounds so shticky, and in a way it is, but in a way that I thought was quite charming and delightful. So you know what? I'm gonna put this in Make the Yuletide Gay. Okay, so next up is Rent. Some might say this isn't really a holiday film because only like the first half of it actually takes place during Christmas, to which I say, fuck you, maybe. I'm gonna do what I want here. So I cannot emphasize enough how Rent was my entire personality as a teenager, so it's very close to my heart. Thankfully, time has let me know that, the movie is like not as good as I really want it to be. I do think that it is still a fun movie to watch, even though like it could have been better. Okay, Season of Love. So this is another film that I'm like, is it good? No, but like this is what lesbians always say they want, like a cheesy Christmas movie just about like women falling in love with each other over Christmas, which is like very, very cute. I'm still gonna put it teeters between naughty and nice because there is some acting and writing that is just like, ugh. And there are a couple moments where like I have to look away from the screen because I think they're like a little cringe. But if you watch this with like a group of lesbians, they're all going to be happy for at least a part of it. Silent Night, this movie, oh, okay, immediately this movie is going to go in lump of coal. The thing is that it's not necessarily an awful movie, but it's so dark. It is a movie where, like, it's best watched if you know absolutely nothing. And the lesbian couple, especially, no satisfaction there. Something from Tiffany's. Released this year. Pretty cute, pretty charming. This is hard because it's centered around a straight couple. However, the supporting lesbian couple, I thought their chemistry and banter was way better than the straight people. The movie's not about them, but God, they're so good in it. Then I say, oh, what fun. I do think the romance is pretty alright. Under the Christmas Tree. I did not like this movie as much as other people did. I did like some of it. It had a very Gilmore Girls vibe in the sense that the town in which it's set gives a nice Stars Hollow vibe. I think the central romance itself is pretty cute. It's just about a woman, like one of them wants to chop down the tree, the other one wants to keep the tree up. That's the conflict. I think it just fumbles the ending. The last 15 minutes just felt so rushed and unearned and weird. Like, this is a movie that will satisfy a lot of lesbians. A lot of lesbians do and will love this movie. I just wish it really got the ending. Okay, what's cooking? I recently watched this movie again on Thanksgiving. I showed it to my wife for the first time. God, this movie is so good. It is such a good movie. It is by far the best Thanksgiving movie out there. If you like movies that have food, this features great food. 4 different families in Thanksgiving and just seeing what the holiday means. Totally make the Yuletide gay. Julianne Margulies and Kara Sedgwick play the lesbian couple. Great chemistry, delightful. Just a great movie. You make it feel like Christmas. I cannot tell you how indistinguishable this movie is. Like, I remember watching it last year, except I don't remember anything that happened. It's just blah. I'm gonna put lump of coal. The lesbian couple is like a side character. Just not very good. Christmas with the darling. Christmas with the darlings. Christmas with the darlings. I don't want to say like, it's just a Hallmark movie. I have seen good Hallmark movies. I have seen Hallmark movies that, really make me believe in Christmas and really make me believe in love. That's why Every Time a Bell Rings is an S tier. So I don't want to dismiss Christmas with the Darlings as just being like another Hallmark movie. But I don't think, like, it's particularly distinguishable from others. It is centered around a family, which I think is kind of nice, but I don't think it's worth watching if you're looking for, like, lesbian content. Okay, Everybody's Fine. I think this movie is devastating. And when I say a movie is devastating, it is always a compliment. I love movies that make me feel devastated. It's about a man who's trying to reconnect with his adult children and just having trouble over Christmas. Made me cry. But, that might not be your thing. That just might not be your thing for a holiday movie. And the lesbian characters are minor. However, it is Drew Barrymore dating Kate Menig, aka Shane from The L Word. And that's pretty fun. I'm going to put in oh what fun because it is, like, it hurts. In a good way. The Magical Christmas Tree. Do not be deceived by the poster. This is an extremely low budget indie movie. And I don't mean that as an insult. It was just very jarring because I thought from the poster it was going to be like a lot more of like fantasy joint, and it's not. I'm gonna put it in Slade Ain't So because it had some like interesting ideas. There were some scenes that I thought were kind of funny, but I still don't think it's like at a point where I feel comfortable like recommending it. Last Christmas, I actually just watched this movie last night. It definitely goes in the category of like totally absurd. And once again, lesbian supporting sister who has like a pretty alright storyline. By the time we got to the last 20 minutes, I thought it was very beautiful. So I'm going to put it in teeters between naughty and nice. If you can get through the film to get to the last 20 minutes, I think you'll like really feel the Christmas spirit. Finally, we have Merry and Gay, and what a note to end on because this movie was not very good. I've had to move along the lump of coal category just to make sure that there's room. And I feel bad about this one. This is the latest film from the group that brought you like Christmas at the Ranch, Season of Love, I Hate New Year's. And I think Merry and Gay is unfortunately the worst of them. But at least, my wife and I watched this and laugh a lot. It clearly made us laugh in the ways it did not intend us to. Well, there you have it, folks. Here are all 30 holiday films that feature lesbian or queer women that I have seen. Of course, there are plenty of films that I would say are great and worth watching, will get you in the holiday spirit, and even the ones that I didn't like as much, that doesn't mean that you won't find enjoyment at any of them. So I really hope you come out of this finding at least one film where you might be interested in seeing it, and even maybe a film where you think that sounds so awful that you absolutely must see it. Merry Christmas and a happy gay.